everyone, welcome to the channel. It's great to be with you again. I'm just quickly finishing up my setup and I will be with you shortly. Okay, so I've still got a lot of work to do on this page, and I think today I'm going to just jump into a little bit of pencil work and gel pens, and we'll see what we can do and how we can turn this page into something really pretty. So I'm thinking for the frogs I'm going to do a off brown, so like a sienna brown, maybe a bit of burnt ochre kind of thing. I'll try and use different pencil sets, so we can maybe use a little bit of the Black Widow pencils. So I'm thinking something along the lines of maybe a green into a bit of brown. So let's have a look. So I'm looking at the Monarch set and I'm thinking the apple, the leaf green, and possibly saddle from the dragon set. So let me see if I can just find these. It always takes a while to find them because they're kind of hidden. But we will find them. Alright, I found apple, and then we need the leaf green, and then I want the brown saddle out of the dragon set. Okay, so that's what I'm going to try and use for the frogs. I'm just finding they've gone quite, how do I put it? It's small details, so I'd rather use pencil for the small details. And then for the lily pads, I think if we do a dragon green glow with possibly a wizard, that will probably work quite nicely actually. So we'll need a wizard and a green glow. Alright, so we'll see how these work, and I'm going to zoom you in onto the frog so you can really see how everything goes. One sec, just really zoom you in. Okay, so really fine details here. Hi Noel, hi Kenny, how are you? Okay, so what I'm going to try and do is probably light towards the edges and dark in the middle. So I'm going to use the green glow. And I'm actually going to bring in, I think, a paler green from the Monarch set. So let's try something like Antler. You could probably use Antler or Poison or any one of those. Such hilarious names. They crack me up. All right, I've got Poison here. So so we've got a highlight, and then come in with a darker green. So if you've tried Black Widows in the Tomislav Tomic books, let me know, because I'd love to hear your experience with them. I'm just going to turn down my lights. It's feeling very bright today. Let me know if it's too dull and I'll brighten it up. Okay, let's just do these like that. So I'm going to use the poison first, and I'm going to just base most of my lily pads. I'm not really feeling up to making this into a masterpiece today. I've got another one of my bad headaches, and I've taken something for it. I've taken some ibuprofen, so I'm sure within the next 40 minutes it will kick in. But because of that, I'm just thinking, you know what, I'm just going to do some relaxed coloring, and hopefully this page will turn out okay. I'm sure it will. It's just not going to be my best page. So I hope you all had a good weekend. I had a rather busy weekend. I was up in London on Saturday, just to start the process of just getting a bit more familiar and trained up for the next school year, where I will be tutoring my son's, my eldest son's group. So there was some stuff I needed to go up to London to sort out and just be a part of that. So busy weekend, but I think good nonetheless. Oh, Kenny, you found that you don't like black widows at all. I don't know, hey, I'm like, the more I color, the more I realize that the main sets of pencils I like is Prismacolor and Polychromos. And I keep wanting to try these different budget sets, because, you know, I do understand that they're, you know, Prismacolors and Polys are expensive for some people. So I want to always keep my options open, so I can try, and if people ask, you know, what sort of pencils can they get started with, I can give them a good recommendation. But honestly, I'm finding Prismacolors and Polys really just such a great start. So I don't know. Oh, thanks, Kenny. I appreciate you noticing. Thank you. I will see how it goes. My husband and my eldest son, they quickly set up the table for me. So our dining room table, well, actually my school table, has been converted into a ping pong table with a makeshift net and all. The boys are on a week's break, and they've recently discovered with their friends ping pong, and hubby used to do competition ping pong, so they've all been playing whenever they can, and I've given them the table I generally film on and do my coloring. So they set it all up for me and were so thoughtful that I just didn't have the heart to say, no, it's okay, I'm not going to do a live today because I've got a headache and I feel a little funny. But I thought, you know what, I'll just take ibuprofen and see how it goes. And we'll see. It just seems the older I've gotten, the more these headaches are, I get these headaches with a raised temperature, and sometimes it's hormonal and sometimes it's not, and it's just a bit bizarre, but nothing to really I feel like the doctors won't really do anything about it because, you know, there's no reason for it. And most of the other time I feel fine. So they come and go, and my neck's been bothering me, so I generally tend to get tension headaches. So I think I've just got a tension headache at the moment, but within a couple of weeks it will go, depending on how bad it is. Oh, I tell you, Prismas and Polys, they are worth the money spent on them. Although the Black Widows aren't too bad. I mean, I think once you get used to them, but they definitely don't work in every book. And I had a friend over today, and she was telling me she's looked at Prismacolors, but they were really, you know, expensive. So I explained to her what I've noticed with Polys and Prismas, and I said they are definitely worthwhile because they are so versatile and they work well together, especially when you start putting things in like fur and all of that. And I find Prismas are almost more versatile than Polys because I can use them on almost any paper and they just work. Either that or I've gotten really used to them. I don't think I've had an MRI or... No, I've had an MRI on my shoulders and my back because about 6 years ago I ended up getting really sick and my body had so much inflammation in it that I had inflammatory fluid going from my right arm up into my shoulder, across my shoulder towards my neck, and then I had inflammatory fluid in my ankles and my lower legs. So at that point, once I was hospitalized, I actually couldn't walk because everything had swelled up so much, and my body was fighting what the doctors eventually found out to be a streptococcal infection. So I ended up going for loads of MRIs for that, but I haven't had one for my head. I've had my heart checked, I've had everything else checked. So we'll make these lovely pink flowers, and that will work nicely with these pink flowers I've got on the side here. Oh wow, Kenny. Wow, that's incredible. Since you've had surgery, you've had no headaches. I could probably chat to the doctors and see if they will book me in for a routine check and see what they think. Absolutely, so glad that it worked out for you, Kenny, and that it all came right. So I've noticed that I get migraines or headaches normally either side of my cycle. Generally between cycles I'm actually fine. And around the same time I'll go through things like insomnia, I get the normal mood swings. The older I'm getting, the more I struggle on and off with the PMS sides of my cycle. So I think I'm just, going through changes. And then linked to that, I tend to get a bit of a raised temperature. But that's about as far as I get. And I actually did some research on it and found out that the fever side of it was pretty normal. I mean, I have wondered if it's the startups of like perimenopause. Because I've also researched a little bit into that. But who knows? Who knows? Hi Carly, how are you? How was your weekend? Thank you so much for letting me know, Kenny. I will definitely keep your advice in mind, and I will definitely be monitoring it and seeing how things go. And if they do get worse, I will definitely go and see the doctor and have it looked into. Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. Just got a bit of a headache today. So I took some ibuprofen. I'm sure it's going to kick in soon. Oh, no, it's okay. Hi, Leslie. I'm glad you're staying warm on a cold day. You're at least cold. And as long as you're cozy and things are good, that's a good thing. Oh, Kenny, I'm so glad you had a good trip to San Diego. How is your family? Okay, let me move you down this way because I'm moving through these lily pads quite quickly. Oh, you guys all sound so cozy. Warm fireplaces, cold days. I'm already wishing winter over and spring to arrive. I'm like so over this now. Oh, I'm so glad, Kenny, you had a great time and that the family's all well. Wow, that sounds so cold. Is it cold enough for you guys to get snow? Okay, no snow in your parts. Right, that is the lily pad. So now I'm going to try an apple saddle leaf green combo. Let's see how this works. So I'm going to try the saddle first. Actually, I think I'm going to make them brown frogs. I'm worried that if I make them too green, they're going to get kind of lost in the greenness. This is apple. Maybe I can do it like that. Or maybe get a dark brown. Like a mahogany. Let's see. Okay. Okay, something like that. They're not going to be brilliant. They're just small little frogs. Oh wow, you've got your mountains have snow. You've had your limit of coffee. I always forget that you can get brown frogs. So do you guys have Valentine plans tomorrow? I know some of us aren't doing anything for Valentine's Day, but for those of you who are, have you got any special plans? Are you excited? How many colored pages have you done this month? I am trying to return to my whips and see how many of those I can complete. Hi Carol, how are you? Oh, I know that feeling about backgrounds. I don't know how people know when to put a background and when to leave it. I find it really, really tricky. Alright, so if we look up here, we've got the frog there and the frog there. So we'll do a similar color combo. Along here, I'm thinking we'll do that light. Oh, yes, okay, I see it on the leaf. There's a frog on the leaf. Okay, hang on. Bring it down. Move it over. Hopefully you can see both frogs. These are such itty bitty frogs, my goodness. In some respects, you don't even really need to faff much with them, they're so small. Okay, I think those are all the frogs. So now I need like shades of pinks. So maybe a a light pink, a hot pink, and a Lady Jane, and a maiden pink. Alright, so let's go to the pink side. Alright, so I've got a Lady Jane. And a maiden pink. I'm just trying to find the rest of the light pinks, which I don't know. Sometimes I'm convinced my pencils find legs and they just run away. Oh well, I'll just use a white then, because I don't know where they've gone. So then we're going to use I'm going to zoom you out a bit more so you can see a bit better. Okay, so I've used Inktense but not activated it here. So I'm just going to go over that with my pencils now, because it really is such a small space. Unless you have a very fine paintbrush, it will be a bit challenging to really blend it out nicely. And then the Casper, which is just a white pencil really. And then if I take a Dragon Shiraz, I can try and deepen up some of these bits here. Oh, I love Christine Karen. Her work is just so beautiful. Which book of hers are you coloring in? So I'll go over the edges of all these flowers with paint pen or Posca pen or something like that, and it will just brighten it up as well. Oh, okay, cool. A PDF from her Patreon. She stopped the PDFs and her Patreon, didn't she? Well, at least last year I heard that she wasn't releasing anything new on her Patreon account. Oh, okay, so she did stop, but then it was a Christmas gift. Fair enough. Well, Carly, you and me both. I still haven't started in Wildflower. It's a beautiful book though, and because it's similar to the Jasmine Beckett Griffith colouring books, it should be quite easy to colour in. How long do you take to color a portrait? Okay, cool. So you're taking your time, a couple of hours a day. Okay, so I want to bring this in here. And I think I'm going to go pink into yellow. Okay, so let's do some Lugget. This is from the Cobra set. I'm not going to do all the petals with the yellow. I'm going to try and have it just some of the petals are going yellow, and then blend the pink into it. Hi Emily, how are you? Sorry to hear your mom's not well. We'll be praying for her and for you, that you don't get sick and that she gets better. We can do some here with yellow, because not all of the lilies actually have to look the same. They can look different. Oh, Emily, I'm so sorry to hear about your mom. Must be really hard for her and for you. Okay, so that's the flowers and the lily pads. Right, now we got to think of a different color green to go with the tree. And we need to do the tree, so let's have a look. I'm going to zoom you out so I can see this a whole lot better, and you can see it. Okay, all right. So the tree forms, then it goes the branches, and then I've got the vine frame. So I think if I do the vine frame, I could probably do that in a gel pen, and then I need to do the tree. Now, I've seen some people leave highlights on both sides of the tree trunk, but I'm not sure if that's what I'm supposed to do. And then I want to try and do some of this grass here. So for the grass, I definitely need something vibrant. So I'm thinking like a chartreuse kind of color. So I might do a yellowy into a yellowy green kind of thing for the grass. So I'm going to do the grass first, and then I'll hopefully work out a plan for the vines and the trees. So I'm going to zoom you back in again. It's a bit easier for you to see what I'm doing. And I'll get my Monarch pencils out. So I want Passion from the Monarch set. I want Calm Lime and Grass Blade from the Dragon set. Passion. Okay, let's have a look. So this is the Passion. Here. Then we can try the Calm Lime. And then the Grass Blade. You would just do a highlight on one side of the tree. Okay, that's great to know, Kenny. Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't sure about the highlight on both sides. Oh wow, Kali, did you get pan pastels? How exciting! I hope you enjoy every minute of them. They're a real treat. Wow, that's wonderful. I've heard the pan pastels for skin tones are really, really great. And as far as I know, you can layer over them with pencil. So they're quite versatile. That's the leaf. All right, here we go. Oh wow, you bought a blue one for the skies too. Oh, that's so cool. So Kenny, if the sets have duplicates, what is your recommendation for on the best way to buy pan pastels? Oh, okay. That's very handy to know, Kenny. Thank you. So you would buy a landscape set or a set you really want and then add the single colors to that. That makes perfect sense, actually. Are they easy to use? I've not gone into pan pastels because I've got chalk pastels and we're not the best of friends. So the price of the pan pastels kind of, I'd rather just wait until I'm a bit more experienced before investing in them. if you can use them, I can use them. Oh, okay. So chalk pastels and pan pastels are very different. I see. It's really tricky sometimes to know exactly where all these leaves start and stop. Alright, I think I will move on from these grass blades. Since I think I'm just going to do them all pretty much the same. Okay, so that's roughly the same idea for the grass. Now for the tree. Let's try Rusty, Dungeon, and I like the huntsman. That's quite cool. Okay, so I'm going to go from dark to light. I think I'm going to have this light and this side dark. So we'll just have a very confused landscape or picture, because I have no idea where the direction of my light is coming from in this picture. So it will just be a confused picture. Nope, I'm going out of the picture frame. Oh dear. Okay, so just carry on coloring a tree. Do you go through seasons where you have more earthquakes than other times of the year? It must be quite a scary thing to go through. Oh, okay, wow. So you actually want the little earthquakes to relieve pressure and stop the bigger ones from coming. Alright, so I would say on a larger surface, the Black Widows don't actually work on this paper as nicely. They're not as bad as the Magical Dawn paper, but I wouldn't say that they're phenomenal on this paper either. Okay, I'm going to swap the Rusty for the Castle. I think the Castle's a little bit less red. Just a little bit toned down. It was a bit bright. But I do like it because it will just create a bit of pop. Oh, okay, so you get the earthquakes anytime. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. So I'm going the dungeon over the huntsman, and then you can either use Castle or Rusty depending on how red you want it. You don't mind the moderate sized quakes. It makes people leave the state. You get some peace and quiet then. Oh, thank you. So I wouldn't say Black Widows on this paper is terrible. I do find I'm having to work this a bit more than I necessarily like. I haven't got a piece of paper between, so the harder I press, the more I'm imprinting. So that's something to watch out for. So yeah, I probably wouldn't use Black Widows again on this paper. But it's not the end of the world if I do use them. So if I come back here, yeah, this doesn't blend nicely on bigger pieces. Even if I try crosshatch, it's not really blending very smooth. On the paper, they're smooth, so they seem to glide. They do seem to glide. They're laying down pigment. It could also be that I'm not layering them properly. On the Magical Dawn page, they laid very quickly and they seem to not take much pigment after a couple of layers. This paper, at least, I can still layer over and it's not too bad. But I'm putting a bit of a medium pressure, and it's still, I can see the pigment is struggling to really go down evenly, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think you're right, Noelle. I think I will definitely come in with a blender pencil and try blend it. This is similar to coloring in Enchanted Christmas with Polychromos pencils. I'm just trying to quickly clean my blender pencil and see how this will work. Okay. Yes, exactly. It's not really going into each other. Very well said, Noelle. It's exactly how it feels. Kenny, I do switch pencil brands. I am a little bit still stuck into not switching pencil brands, not because I can't, but almost because a part of me is kind of going and saying, and not necessarily really what I should be doing. So I think I just try and persevere through it. Okay, so if I use a colorless blender, it seems to blend it better, but then the color seems to mute or tone down. So I will try switch. I'm glad I brought my Prismacolors down. All right, let me see if I can find colors that will match. Because, yeah, this is not working. So I think I need a burnt ochre. A burnt ochre, a green ochre, and a I would say a dark umber. No, a dark brown. Okay, so I need a dark brown. Okay, there's a burnt ochre. A dark brown and then a green ochre. Okay, let's see. I'm not sure about this. Yeah, I will give it a try, and eventually if it irritates me enough, I'll switch pencil brands. At the same time, I'm like, you know what, it's just not always worth persevering, and if I get to the point where I'm really getting frustrated, then I'll switch pencil brands, because I just don't see the point in getting frustrated with my coloring when it's the whole point of it is to actually be relaxing. So it's this weird juggle between giving them a chance and kind of like, nope, not working, gone. Oops, I've gone outside of the pencil, out of the picture frame. Thank you, Kenny. If I'm going to switch pencils, I do want to try and, as much as possible, make sure that they match, so it's not really noticeable. Plus, if I'm really honest, I quite like trying to see if I can match the colors as smoothly as possible. I like the challenge of it. You know, it's like playing a puzzle game or something like that. Oopsie daisy, that didn't work. Right, I need a little bit of a shadow, so I'm going to bring in a bit of black and just deepen up some of this here. Oh, thank you, Kali. You're so kind. I remember when I first started coloring, I started with the Castle Art pencils, and so many tutorials were, you know, Prismacolor or polychromos, especially Prismacolor. And a part of me did want to create a channel that used budget pencils as well as artist grade pencils, so that, you know, I could be accessible to people who couldn't afford budget pens, couldn't afford artist grade pencils. But the more I've colored, the more I found that there's a reason why artists use, you know, the artist quality pencils, and it's because they really work. So part of me is a bit of a diehard where I want to make the budget pencils work, but I find the paper quality really plays such a role in what pencils you can use. And like here, the Black Widows are fine on a really small space, but on a really big space they don't work, whereas, you know, the Prismacolors work so much better. So it's just such an interesting experience, really. Such a learning experience. Okay, I'm going to bring this down a bit more so you can see what I'm doing. I mean, I cannot speak about, you know, luminance or Holbein pencils or even Pablo's and that sort, because one, they're really expensive, so I need to save up to get them, and then two, I'm just so happy with the Prismas and the Polys. I don't see the need to really rush into getting more pencils. I'm not against it, I'm just content with what I've got. But one day I'll get the luminance and all of that. I think though I'd rather save up for a better camera, so I can make sure my videos are just a better quality. Hi Pickle, how are you? Thank you so much. So then that's how I'm going to do the tree, so I can finish the tree off camera. Since I've got my Prismas out, let's do the fairy. We can make her look so pretty. So let's see, we can use some beige sienna, some light umber, and then probably some peach. And if we need to, we can use a bit of cream. Okay, this is going to be fun. Okay, sienna brown, no, sienna beige in there, on here. I suppose because she's so small, you probably don't need to really do too much on her skin. Sometimes I find little portraits so much harder to color than bigger portraits. I think it's just because there's less space. And I always think I have more space than I actually have. She's a very petite little thing. Oh, thank you so much, Kenny. I'm going to bring in a little bit of dark brown, just like underneath the ruffles of her little dress. And then underneath here by her legs. And then I'm going to bring in some pink. Just try and brighten this up just a wee bit more. And then I'll use a white pencil and just try and blend it out. So it looks a little bit more, cohesive. And just being careful not to lose my shadow lines. Okay, something like that. And then what I wanted to do was give her very nice, like, shimmery wings. So I'm thinking of doing like deco yellow in her wings with some pink splats here and there, and maybe a bit of like really light blue. So we could try a powder blue. Oh, thank you, Kenny. I think I've just worked out what this is. This needs to be background. So I missed that was part of the background. Alright, I'll do that one off camera. I'll fix it. And then I'll use a bit of blush pink. You think you need a cup holder. And we can add a little bit of, hang on, I'll tell you the name now because the name is fading. A light green. Just some places. And then I'll use a white pencil and I'll, you know, try blend it out so that they blend into each other. And I'll go over all the black lines with a white pencil and a white gel pen. All right, this is, I think, blue cerulean, and I'm just trying to just deepen it a bit more. So when I blend it out, there's actually color. It won't look too washed out. Okay, let's see. Let's take a white pencil and I'm just going to blend this all together. And hopefully I'll get a bit of an iridescent sort of glow going on. Right, so then we can take a white gel pen. So this is the Sakura Jelly Roll. It's a number 5, but we could probably use a number 8. Oh, no, I'm using a glaze. No, I don't want to use a glaze. I mean, it will look pretty with a glaze, but I actually want a white gel pen. Okay, the white's not working. I've got another idea. We can use a yellow gel pen. So you could use a white gel pen or you could use a yellow one. Pink gel pen. Yeah, you can get size 8, size 5. I don't know about the standard colored ones, but in the white jelly rolls you can get them as a 5 or an 8. I don't know if you get smaller than that. I can't get the Mart gel pens here in the UK, which is such a pity. But hubby is supposed to be going to the States in June for a business trip. So I'm going to see if I can get him to get me some. Because I said to him it's like $5 in the States, whereas here it's almost impossible. So he said he'll have a try for me. But these jelly rolls work really well. It's just the white gel pen for some reason I have troubles with. Getting it to actually glide over like these jelly rolls is very strange, because the jelly rolls, these are the Stardust, they work brilliantly. I hardly ever have any hassles, but the white Sakura jelly rolls tend to give me issues, which I find just very, very odd. So I got the idea using these sort of rolls from Instagram reels I see where people are using like watercolors to paint butterflies, and then they use these watercolor glitter type paints and they do the fine details with that, and I actually think it looks so pretty. Oh, he's just going to try and get the gel pen, the white gel pens that I struggle to get here in the UK. And with the glitter in the gel pen, it really helps with the wings, so it gives them a bit of a sparkle, which I quite like. He's going to Las Vegas. I don't remember how long. I think it's just a few days. And I think it's for a work expo of some sort. Viva Las Vegas, yes. So I'm just using a bit of the orange to kind of just work as a shadow some of these wings. Yeah, you would think they would sell to Amazon UK. It's very unfortunate that they don't. I mean, I can get them, but I think with the shipping, that's what pushes the price up. So it ends up being, I don't know, almost £20 for a gel pen. Yeah, it is quite sufficient, a couple of days. I will be missing him very terribly. But it's good for him. I mean, he needs to go for work, so... Alright, I'm going to zoom out and then you can have a look. I think I'll finish her dress another time. So that's how she's looking right now. with her shimmery wings there. Takes off the glare. So I will do all the rocks, and then the Inktense is on the moss, and I'll just activate that. I think I used a spring green and an apple green Inktense for the moss on the rocks, and then I might go in with pencil and deepen it up. But yeah, that's pretty much how I would finish the page now. I just need to finish these little flowers, which I'm not sure yet what to do. I'm probably going to take a green gel pen around the edges here and finish up all the vines. So there's really not a lot left to do. I'll probably finish the page off camera and start something new on Monday. Vegas is big for business meetings and conferences. Yeah, I believe so. I hope it goes well for him, but yeah, we've got a few months. Thanks for joining me, everyone. I really appreciate chatting to you, and I've really enjoyed coloring and having a good time. Thank you again. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your week and that you all keep well. And I look forward to seeing and chatting with you again next Monday at the same time and same place. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Really appreciate you. Take care. Bye for now.